So yeah, really getting off sugar, getting off the carbs, and you know, the way that we've been eating in all these workshops with food and everything, have you all felt pretty satiated and satisfied? Okay. So remember, that's because the clarifications on food as medicine and how to make your food medicine is you're really making sure to have fat, protein, fiber on your plate. You're building it up in nutrition, hemp seeds, chia seeds, fresh grounded flax seed, a drizzle of olive oil, fresh squeezed lemon or lime, fresh herbs on top. You're not just stopping at this base food on your plate. You're thinking, what does this plate need to be more well-rounded and more medicinal? So you're also thinking about you've got your taste in Ayurveda. Your sour, usually from a yogurt, or your kraut, or your fermented whatever. You have something on your plate that is probiotic and sour like that. You've got a little bitter, you've got a little astringent, you've got sweet, you've got sour, and you've got salty. If you have those tastes on your plate as much as possible, you know, you might not have one or two. You know, sometimes it's hard to get astringent. But astringent is, let's go through those. So, sour, what would be on your plate?
Sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut. Anything that makes your mouth kind of pucker, right?
Yeah, lemons.
Lemon. How about astringent? That's
potatoes.
Potato.
Oh, potatoes would be astringent.
Artichokes, asparagus.
Yeah, take a look. It's the in a green banana, right? A little more astringent.
Yeah, I would say.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's a little bit more hard to really pin down. So go on the internet, look up astringent foods. Try to get that on your plate. Bitter.
The greens.
The greens. And what's the greens good for?
The liver.
The liver. So get those greens, get those bitter greens. And now that we're coming into fall, so this workshop was in summer, and those greens a lot were raw, right? But now that we're going into fall, you might want to steam those now. Because nature dictates, the intelligence of nature tells us, we want more root vegetables because that's what's available. The earth is providing us the root vegetables. The earth is providing us a season for warmth, soups. The earth is telling us, get warm. Warm, nourishing foods. Wet foods. We're coming into a dry fall wind. Right in fall there's wind. There's just a drying out into winter, right? So that tells you what? Now you start to put more oil in your food. And you make things more wet on your plate, as well as getting these other flavors. So we got sour, we did astringent, we did bitter, sweet.
Which would be like brown rice.
Yeah. Or even a little, you might...
Raisins.
What's that?
I said raisins.
Yeah, like when you put, like, you know, Indian cooking is known for just getting a little bit of currant in there, or a little bit of mango chutney on the side. A little bit of something just to have the sweetness. The sweetness actually brings the flavors out of all the food. All those flavors bring the experience to a higher level in your mouth. You're like, wow. You know, and then the salt, you're getting the salt from sea salt, not table salt. And then your, what else did we cover?
Pungent.
Pungent. These are a little harder to pin down. Pungent. What would be pungent?
Ginger. In our chocolate.
Turmeric.
Yeah, that, you know, jalapeno peppers, those would be pungent. Even
So
the
like-
cacao, I think, would be pungent.
Pungent bitter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Cacao would be, I'd
bitter,
say maybe
yeah.
it might even have
Maybe
both
both,
qualities.
yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen it classified in both places.
So when you go deeper into Ayurveda, which is a science, the sister science of yoga, these flavors, these tastes that we're talking about, actually come about from the actual elements of nature. the light of the sun combined with the water element of the earth, combined with the air element of the wind. When you get into the deeper science of Ayurveda, it's the particular combination in a certain degree that creates the bitterness of that plant, creates the sweetness of that fruit, creates the saltiness of that food, and the bitterness of that, and the astringent and pungent of that. That is how deep the intelligence of what we're talking about when we first started, as far as nature has an intelligence. When you go deeper into these sciences, that's what we're getting at. So the practice of Ayurveda is truly based on really understanding the elements, understanding nature, because we see it in the food. Not just in the hot and the cold of a spice, like the hot spice. I'm drawing a blank. Cayenne. I was thinking Cajun, but that's not the spice. Cayenne. So the cayenne's the hot, and like a cucumber is cool, right? It's a cold. You see, so this language of hot and cold and bitter and sour, it's in everything that you eat. And once you start understanding the food in this way, and know how to make an orchestra of that on your plate, now you're really lining yourself up with nature, with the natural intelligence of life as we know it. And this is a whole nother level. This is like level 2 food as medicine. This is really getting into the science of food. Right now we're just in the medicine of food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is a lot. But the science of food, now we all become the herbalists again. We all become the pagan witch doctor, shaman woman, right? That holds the sacred knowledge. And we all have that within us. So I really want to give this whole series a punch in that regard. Like, we need to return back to that. Because the doctors right now, they're functioning in a more masculine way, a more linear, analytical way. But real healing and real health comes from, yes, the combination of that, but especially from our intuition and our ability to really relate with our food and understand the scientific constituents of our food and how to make that more medicinal for our body when we intake it. So level 2, you're getting into elixirs and concoctions and how to make the right blends of juices, and you're getting into the science of it.
There was a wonderful program on Nova it's all about the earth, and this one was about color. And we see color. But it was saying that basically color comes from the nucleus of an atom, because it's with the protons and neutrons, it's all vibrating. And it's vibrating at wavelengths that we can't see. We can just see a certain part of it. But I was thinking about how all those wavelengths, they end up representing a certain energy, which ends up in a color of food, if it's real food. And that it's all, like you were talking about, it's all vibrational. It's all about vibration. But you start to alter that stuff, and you're not really feeding yourself. But it was a wonderful program. Like, I remember as a kid, I used to say, "Why green? Why? Why isn't it red? Why aren't the trees red?" And everybody just said, but it explained it in this, I can't remember, because I was thinking, I want to get this, because I still wonder why green, but it explained it from from chemical interacting with air and plants, and how it all creates, because it's all about feeding. It's all this cycle of death and rebirth and using everything. It's just beautiful. I apologize for talking so much.
Poetic. Yeah.
That's nice.
No, these are the kinds of conversations that you have when you're eating good food.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went through purification and diet. Anyone have any other comments on that, or any trials or tribulations you need to express about that? Okay, so that's turning off the tap water, right? The toxic tap, you're turning it off, because once you get to this level, which is superfood nutrition, and you're eating goji berries and walnuts and almonds, and these are all organic and high medicine foods, it doesn't make sense that you're eating that and you still have the tap turned totally on as far as the toxicity coming into the body. It doesn't make sense. It's not honoring the medicine or the plants that we're eating on this level. And it's not giving them their fair shot to heal you. If you have that toxicity tap turned way on, we need to have some self-discipline and really practice the consciousness around food at this level first. Let me get the 60-40. Let me get the 70-30. Let me work with this first. Right? That's why a lot of us are taking this workshop twice, because it takes that. I mean, there's a lot going on with just workshop one.
Yeah.
I gotta get rid of my Diet Coke, what? You know, or I gotta, So we can spend a lot of time there. And then, but the second one is the liver, healing and cleansing the liver. And so eating a lot of bitter herbs, when you got your plate 80% vegetables, you can bet your liver is thanking you every day. The liver, remember, in that workshop is the major detoxification filter. When this isn't working, you are going to get some level of sickness and backup, because the toxicity is backing up, your filter isn't working, the blood is getting sticky and poisonous to you, for you. So healing, oh man, I bet you heal really slow if you're really got some toxic, sticky blood and you eat, like, you know, really crappy food. I bet your healing ability is very low, and you might get sick more often than the next person. And I bet your immunity is really low, and I bet your hormone balance is totally off. Because the liver is what rids your xenoestrogens and all the toxicity out. You need that to be working. You need your liver to be working. So getting your 80% greens is such a big part of it. So now we're going into fall, so you might lightly steam those, but you still eat them.
So can you say a little more about this steaming? So lightly steam, and then would you dress them with olive oil and
Sure.
apple cider vinegar and a little bit of mineralized salt?
That'd be great.
Okay.
Still do that. Yeah. And remember, you can also massage your greens with the raw apple cider vinegar and sea salt or a little cayenne if you want. What that's going to do, the apple cider vinegar, it's going to start to break down the food before you even need to break it down. So that's always a good thing, to put the raw apple cider vinegar on your food, whatever it is you're eating. So it's always good to have a dressing with the raw apple cider vinegar or lemon or anything like that, because it's going to, once you put it on your food, then the digestion starts before you even eat it. So it's going to improve your digestion because it's already digesting. And then that's why it's very important to really chew your food slowly. Katie was just talking about using chopsticks and how much more of a sacred relationship you have when you use chopsticks, because it slows you down. And every bite becomes a sacred act. And you are forced to really be with your food. So try that, give that a shot, those of you that eat fast. And I remember your surveys and your questionnaires, a lot of people are eating standing up. So really eat with those chopsticks and sit down and just with your food.
I'd like to do a little share if we think there's time. So I just, before we had the class, I thought, oh, this is the thing I really wanted to share. In this last period leading up to here, I have gotten so 100% of the time I am eating without my computer. And I'm really getting what you're talking about, because I feel like I'm kind of having this inner dialogue with myself about my food. And I can feel my salivary glands firing. I really believe I'm producing what I need to digest that food.
There you go, yeah.
And I had totally short-circuited that. I learned to eat fast as a kid, and it was kind of like, and not pay attention to my food, right? And so I really it's like I have to have this conversation with my food to get all that going. So thank you.
Yeah.
I often stop and hear your voice. I do this ritual and I slow myself way down.
That's great.
Because we all automatic.
Yeah.
And I slow myself down when I hear you say, look at your food.
All right, I love it. But remember too, carbohydrates especially, it's amylase, I believe it's amylase, don't quote me on that, I have to check on that one. There is an enzyme that is secreted in the mouth. So there's a lot of digestion that happens in the mouth before you even swallow your food. So that's why it's very important to really take the time. And in fact, when you do a smoothie or you do a raw juice, you don't want to just gulp it down. Right? You want to let it be in the mouth, let those enzymes be secreted by the glands in the mouth. The digestion starts here. Gaia's already feeling how that gets. It's something as simple as that. You can really feel the difference on how you're digesting that food. And then when you swallow it, remember just to go through the digestive tract. When you swallow, remember the digestion actually starts with you thinking about food. That's why we have this relationship with food. Like the cranberries do this for me, the cacao is holding this for me. That's your digestion already starting. I bet you when you start really thinking about your food, you are, if we could scientifically test this, you're secreting already the enzymes that you need to digest that.
Can I add a little to my share? So the other thing that I've noticed that I'm doing, which is very new for me, is really stopping, like let's say it's going to be time to eat, I can tell I'm getting hungry, like really stopping to say, what do I really want? I don't think I ever did that. It was just expedience. Oh, I've got this, let's put some lunch. But I'm really, and I don't know 100% of the time what I really want, but sometimes I have a really clear feeling about what this body wants right now. And that's, I think, that thinking part too. I think then it's just the whole thing starting to condition my body to receive that food. Yeah.
You're taking the time to listen to what your body needs. And that's probably the biggest problem right now in modern society is that, we're being conditioned to not listen to what this body needs. Just like in your asana practice, right? When you're deep in a pose and you just really listen to that tightness. What does that need? Does it need you to move a little bit? Does it need you to breathe deeper? Does it need you to readjust? Just listening to the body and having this interaction with it, which Gaia is illustrating. Okay, so that was the second workshop, the liver. And remember, we're going to have the tea. This is my Living Earth Ultimate Food as Medicine tea. So it's Zara's doing it right now, and then we're going to have this lemon bar. This
wow.
lemon bar with that. So this tea is, it has the stuff for the liver, the herbs for the liver. So the roasted dandelion root, the roasted chicory root, really good substitute for coffee because it tastes like coffee. But these are herbs that really clean and strengthen the liver. You take this every day. It would be good for you to drink this every day as much as you can. I've also put, besides those two powders in there, you grind it up. So I have a coffee grinder, and I've got roasted chicory root and roasted dandelion root, and then I grind it fresh. And then I put the maitake powder in there. So we talked about, the last class was on immune building. So the maitake mushroom powder I put in there, as well as cinnamon and ginger powder. And that's it in this one. But you can put any combination with that. You can put nutmeg, you can put clove. We're coming into fall, so those spices, those herbs, are what the body wants. That's why we make pumpkin pie, and that's why we do this Thanksgiving dinner, because it is the spices we want to be eating during fall. They're warming, so it keeps us warm, and those spices activate in yoga we call it your Agni, where Ayurveda is your Agni, it's your digestive fire. So that's going to help you digest your food. So you can blend that in there too. And so that is in with hot water and a little bit of coconut milk, and because we're having a sweet lemon bar, there's no sweetener in the tea. Right? We don't want to overload the system with too much sweet. We just need a little bit. So that's coming in just a second. So, okay, so that was the second one. The third workshop was
Healing the gut.
healing the gut. Because you've turned the tap off, you've got the gluten and the casein and all those things that are causing problems for you pretty much out of your diet as best you can. Then you start really healing the gut. And you do that how?
With the probiotics, aloe vera.
Yep. So we want to
sealing
seal the gut first, right? So it makes sense, right? You got to turn off the tap before you start sealing up the pipes. Because if you're sealing up the pipes and you're eating things that, and remember, antibiotics, drugs, chemicals, herbicides, pesticides, all these things that we're trying to get away from, they create inflammation in the gut. They destroy the gut lining, the cells that feed, right, the lymphocytes of the gut. And so that's how important step one is, because if you have that tap on of all the stuff that's causing havoc in the body, your liver's not working, and your gut is getting breached, and your digestion is going down because the gut's getting breached, right? And all these antibiotics kills those probiotics, so your digestion goes down. You see how everything goes, how everything's related. So you turn the tap off and you heal the gut with aloe vera juice. Now that is a superfood. It's from the Egyptians. Aloe is great to drink. So it's going to seal those holes in the lining of the gut. Ooh, those are great. Did you try one already?
Sure did.
Yeah.
There were some that broke off.
Does it taste lemony?
Yes.
Okay, great. They turned out.
They're amazing.
All right. Okay, so this is the tea. Okay.
Here, let me
Do you want to do the tea?
Yeah.
And then I'll pass these.
Okay.
Eee, lemon bars. Coconut lemon bars.
It's a treat.
Yeah.
So I have a question about aloe